While riding home one day on my Jetson Bolt Pro, I began to have a problem with the twist throttle not accelerating when twisted. It started out having to twist only slightly further than normal to accelerate, but eventually required a full 360-degree twist before I could accelerate. I'm guessing an internal part has either broken or come loose, and I'm hoping I can fix it. Next. To work on the throttle, I want to remove it from the handlebar. I can't remove it from the e-bike completely because of the electrical cable. To loosen the locking screw that holds the throttle in place, use a 2mm hex head wrench. Don't remove the screw completely, only loosen it about 1.5 turns. Next, undo most of the spiral tie holding the cables together. This will give a little more slack on the throttle cable without having to disconnect it at the controller or pull it out of the handlebar. The last thing to do is unclamp the handlebar stem and slide the handlebar through the stem so the throttle moves closer to the stem. This should give you enough slack in the throttle cable to pull the throttle off of the handlebar. I want to dismantle the throttle as much as possible to check for problems not related to the twist throttle problem, so I'm also removing the grip. I'll squirt some isopropyl alcohol between the grip and throttle, then twist it back and forth to help the alcohol flow down into the grip and loosen it from the throttle. At this point, I should be able to easily remove the grip. I'll remove this cover to get to the throttle internals. There's 3 screws holding the cover in place. After the 3 screws, there is a bit of prying to separate the cover from the rest, but try to run something all the way around the perimeter to separate it. A separate problem I found was a crack in the throttle grip. It ran about 3/4 of the way around, but I think I can crazy glue this back together. I didn't capture it on video, but these are the parts that make up the grip of the throttle. I pried the grip off, but then realized there was a better way to remove it, which I'll explain in a bit. The magnet has broken off from the grip, and by fitting it back onto the grip, it seems to have broken off from here. From what I can tell, the magnet seems to fit into this section of the throttle internals. As the throttle is twisted, it slides within this slot. The magnet aligns with the wires at the top edge, but I'm not sure how this changes acceleration. Getting back to how the throttle grip should be removed from the body, I can now see that the grip attaches by sliding over a cylinder that has a protruding lip on the outer edge. This lip catches on the inside of the grip and holds it onto the body. To remove it, a steak knife might fit nicely into the grip to gently pry the lip away from the inside of the grip, first one side, then the other. I'll try repairing the crack around the grip and reattaching the magnet that broke off, but it's going to be a very fragile repair. The plastic on the throttle is so thin and lightweight, I can see why it broke, and it's amazing it lasted 3 years of occasional use. For now, I'll try to repair this to a working condition throttle grip, although I don't think I'd want to rely on this throttle grip knowing how fragile it is. Once I glue everything back together and confirm it's a working throttle, I'll take it apart again and attempt to add reinforcements if possible. The grip glue up seems to have dried okay. It looks like it'll hold together, but now it's time to glue the magnet in place. I'm still using crazy glue, which I don't typically use because of how brittle it is, but I'm not sure what else to use. I'm hoping the reinforcements I add later will help. I decided to use the rubber grip as reinforcement for the throttle grip. If I glue them both together using goop glue, I think it should provide the strength I'm looking for the stock throttle. I'm filling the inside of the grip, mostly further in, with an abundant amount of glue to fill up the air pockets between the rubber grip and the throttle. After sliding the rubber grip on, I'll leave a slight gap near the magnet so I can fill that area with more goop glue. The end of the grip will reinforce that side of the throttle. For some reason, the goop glue kept pushing the grip off the throttle, so I had to clamp everything with very light pressure, enough only to keep the throttle pressed into the rubber grip. The glue has dried and I've already done a test install. The magnet snapped off due to the tension of the spring pressing against it, so I re-glued the magnet and planned to install the throttle with no return spring. A hole in the end of the grip is for my own purposes and is not necessary. I'll snap the throttle grip onto the rest of the throttle assembly. I'll also test fit everything onto the handlebar to confirm it fits and works as expected. It was difficult to get the throttle housing cover on, so I didn't get that on video. Now that I have it snapped into place, I'll secure it with its 3 screws. Mounting the throttle on the handlebar and checking for power looks good. Finally, I'll secure the throttle assembly to the handlebar by tightening the throttle locking bolt using a 2mm hex head wrench. This is the end of this video. The current throttle repair is temporary, of course. I want to either get a new twist throttle or possibly attempt a DIY version. The electronics within looked a little scary, but I think I could transfer it to a homebrew throttle. If I do come up with a homebrew throttle, that'll definitely be another video. Leave any questions or comments you have in the comment section down below. That's all I have for now, and I'll catch you in the next video.